Let me be honest with you about something that took me years to figure out. When I was a teenager, my face was covered in acne. Not the occasional pimple that shows up before a big day. I mean serious, painful, deep cystic acne that affected my confidence, my social life, and how I felt every single time I looked in the mirror. And like most people in that situation, I did what everyone told me to do. I tried every cream I could find, every lotion, every scrub, every cleanser that promised clear skin on the packaging. I washed my face morning and night. I changed my pillowcase. I avoided chocolate. I tried everything that the conventional wisdom said to try, and none of it worked. Not even a little bit. The acne kept coming back, deeper, more painful, more stubborn than ever, and I could not understand why nothing I was doing was making any difference at all. And then I discovered something that changed everything, something that nobody had told me. Not my doctor, not the pharmacist, not the skincare brands whose products I had spent money on for years. The acne was not a skin problem. It was a hormonal problem, and no cream, no matter how expensive or how many times you apply it, can fix a hormonal imbalance from the outside. You have to understand what is happening inside your body, and once you do, once you understand the real mechanism behind hormonal cystic acne, everything changes. So stay with me through this entire video because I am going to break down exactly what is causing this, why the conventional approaches fail, and what you can actually do about it at the root cause level. Today I want to talk about what is really happening behind hormonal cystic acne. And I mean really happening, not the surface level explanation you get in a 5-minute doctor's appointment. The actual biological mechanism that is driving those deep, painful, persistent cysts that no topical product can touch. Because once you understand the mechanism, the solution becomes obvious, and the frustration you have been feeling starts to make complete sense. There are two main reasons why hormonal cystic acne occurs. Two primary pathways that lead to the same frustrating result. And I want to walk you through both of them in a way that is genuinely clear and genuinely useful. Not just something interesting to know, but something you can actually act on. The first cause is something that affects a significant number of women who are dealing with persistent cystic acne and may not even realize it is the underlying issue. It is called polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. And if you are a woman watching this who has been struggling with hormonal acne that simply will not respond to anything you try, I want you to pay very close attention here because this might be the explanation you have been searching for. PCOS is a condition where your body is producing too much male hormone, specifically testosterone. And when testosterone levels are elevated in a woman's body, you begin to see a very specific cluster of symptoms. Facial hair appearing in places it was not before, a voice that is slightly deeper than it used to be, unexplained weight gain that is resistant to diet and exercise, and acne, deep cystic hormonal acne that clusters around the jawline, the chin, and the lower face. If you are experiencing more than one of these symptoms alongside your acne, PCOS is absolutely something worth investigating and discussing with your doctor. But here is the part that I think is critically important, and that most conversations about PCOS get wrong. And I want to be very direct about this because I think the distinction matters enormously for how you approach the solution. PCOS is frequently described as being associated with high insulin levels or insulin resistance. Associated with, as if the relationship is coincidental or unclear. But that framing undersells what the research actually shows. High insulin and insulin resistance are not just associated with PCOS. They are at the root of it. Elevated insulin is a primary driver of the hormonal imbalance that causes PCOS in the first place. The testosterone overproduction that leads to the acne, the facial hair, the weight gain, and the other symptoms is being triggered and sustained by chronically elevated insulin levels. This is a crucial distinction because it means that addressing insulin resistance is not just one option among many for managing PCOS. It is targeting the actual root cause. And the results that people get when they focus on lowering insulin and improving insulin sensitivity can be genuinely life-changing. I have linked a video below that goes deep into insulin resistance, how to identify it, and exactly what you can do to lower it naturally. If PCOS resonates with you as a potential factor in your acne, please watch that video after this one. Now, regardless of whether PCOS is part of your picture, there is a specific biological mechanism that is directly responsible for converting testosterone into the form that actually causes the acne. And this is where it gets really interesting. And this is the key that unlocks why some people with elevated testosterone get severe cystic acne, while others with similar hormone levels do not. It comes down to an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. Here is what 5-alpha reductase does. It converts testosterone into a significantly more potent and biologically active form called DHT, which stands for dihydrotestosterone. DHT is the really powerful form of testosterone, and it is DHT, not testosterone itself, that is the primary hormonal driver of cystic acne. DHT is far more aggressive in its effect on skin cells and sebaceous glands. It stimulates the glands in your skin to produce excess sebum. It promotes the kind of rapid, abnormal cell turnover that leads to clogged pores. And it creates the deep, inflamed, painful cystic breakouts that are the hallmark of hormonal acne. Now, here is the critical insight. Some people simply have higher levels of 5-alpha reductase activity than others. Their enzyme is more active, more efficient at making this conversion. And so even with testosterone levels that might be considered normal on a blood test, their skin is being exposed to elevated DHT activity. This is why two people can have similar hormone levels on paper and have completely different skin. The enzyme activity is the variable that makes the difference. So what do you do about it? If 5-alpha reductase is the enzyme driving the conversion that is causing your acne, the logical and scientifically supported approach is to inhibit that enzyme, to slow it down, to reduce its ability to make that testosterone to DHT conversion, and thereby reduce the DHT load that your skin is dealing with. These compounds are called 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. There are pharmaceutical versions that doctors can prescribe. But there is also a powerful and completely natural source of 5-alpha reductase inhibition that most people have never been told about. And it is sitting in the produce section of your grocery store right now. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels, sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and their relatives. These vegetables contain natural compounds that act as 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. They slow down the enzyme activity that converts testosterone to DHT. And by doing so, they reduce the hormonal signal that is driving your cystic acne at the source, not on the surface, at the actual biological root of the problem. Eating cruciferous vegetables regularly is genuinely beneficial for hormonal acne. And it is something that is completely safe, accessible, and has a range of other health benefits beyond skin health. But here is something important to understand about cruciferous vegetables and their effect on 5-alpha reductase inhibition. To get a therapeutically meaningful dose of the active compounds from whole vegetables, you would need to eat a substantial quantity of them consistently, which is absolutely worth doing and something I encourage. But for those who want a more concentrated and consistent approach, there is a highly concentrated extract form of the key active compound in cruciferous vegetables called DIM. The full scientific name is lengthy, so we just use DIM. And the concentration difference is remarkable. 2 tablets of DIM is roughly equivalent in terms of the active compounds to eating 2 pounds of cruciferous vegetables. 2 pounds. That context helps you understand why the concentrated form can produce results that eating broccoli occasionally might not. Now, I want to be very specific about dosage here because this is important, and getting it wrong can actually work against you. The dose that I use and recommend for my clients is 200 milligrams of DIM. And I want to emphasize this clearly. You do not want to take more than that amount. The relationship between DIM and hormonal balance is nuanced, At the right dose, DEM helps your body process and metabolize estrogen and testosterone more efficiently, reduces DHT activity, and supports clearer skin. But taking too much DIM can actually tip the hormonal balance in the other direction and create more acne rather than less. More is not better here. 200 milligrams is the target, not more. This is one of those situations where precision matters more than enthusiasm. The product I use with my clients is called Estrogen Balance with DIM. It contains 200 milligrams of DIM, and I have formulated it with additional supportive compounds that help balance estrogen and address the broader hormonal picture that contributes to acne. Cruciferous vegetable extracts, compounds that support healthy estrogen metabolism, and ingredients that work together as a system rather than in isolation. I have put a link below where you can find more information if you want to explore it. But regardless of which specific product or approach you choose, the underlying principle is what I want you to take away from this video. Target the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. Reduce the testosterone to DHT conversion. Address insulin resistance if PCOS is part of your picture. And stop trying to solve an inside problem from the outside. Let me bring this all together for you because I want the takeaway from this video to be as clear and actionable as possible. Hormonal cystic acne is driven by hormones, specifically by elevated DHT activity at the skin level. That DHT comes from testosterone being converted by the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. In women, polycystic ovarian syndrome driven by elevated insulin and insulin resistance can be the source of the excess testosterone in the first place. And in both men and women, high 5-alpha reductase activity can cause cystic acne even when testosterone levels look relatively normal. The solution is to address the conversion enzyme, either through regular consumption of cruciferous vegetables, through DM supplementation at 200 milligrams, or ideally both together. And if insulin resistance is part of your picture, addressing that is foundational to everything else working properly. This is the information I wish someone had given me when I was a teenager, scrubbing my face with products that could never have worked because they were aimed at the symptom rather than the cause. And I genuinely hope that sharing it today saves you years of frustration and helps you finally get the results you have been working toward. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, did you know that hormonal cystic acne was driven by DHT and the 5-alpha reductase enzyme before watching this video? Or is this the first time you are hearing this explanation? Have you tried cruciferous vegetables or DM and noticed a difference in your skin? Your experience and your questions genuinely matter to this community, and I read every single comment personally. If this video gave you a new understanding and a real path forward that you did not have before you clicked play, please hit that like button right now. Share this with someone in your life who has been struggling with hormonal acne and has not been able to figure out why nothing is working, because the answer is probably exactly what we covered today, and they deserve to know it. Subscribe to this channel if you are not already here, and hit that notification bell, because every week I am bringing you the deep, honest, root cause focused health information that actually changes how you feel. I will see you in the next video.